Okay, on review sheet E, we're differentiating. Question 1a, when we differentiate, we find the gradient function. So writing dy dx equals, we take 2 and the 7, and multiply them together, so 2 7s are 14, and we differentiate, so we decrease. So 7 minus 1, we've got 6. Likewise, 3 4s are 12, and decrease by 1, so you've got the 3, and you're done. Right, question 1b, finding the gradient function. So dy dx equals, we've got x to the power half. Don't make it complicated, just remind yourself, if you like, it's 1x to the power of a half. So 1 times a half is a half, and decrease a half by 1, so you've got negative a half. You are finished at that point, but we can make it look a little bit nicer. So leave your half, 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. You've got x to the power of negative a half, so bring it down so you can make the power positive. And then x to the power half is exactly the same as writing the square root of x. So we've got 1 over root x. This is correct, but this looks even nicer. Okay, question 1c, again we're differentiating. So we've got dy dx equals 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, and decrease by 1, so you've got negative 3. Okay, at that point again this is correct, but we can just make it look a little bit nicer. The negative 10 is on the top, so leave it on the top. But to make that negative 3 positive, we can bring it down. So we've got x to the power of 3. And there we are, we're done at that point. Okay, question 1d. So exactly the same idea, we've just got another fraction here. So we're differentiating, so we've got dy dx. 5 times 3 over 2. If you find that sort of thing hard, just write it as a fraction. So we've got 5 over 1. Times your tops, you've got 15, times your bottoms, 1 times 2 is 2. We've got x, we need to deduct it by, reduce it by 1, so 3 over 2 minus 1 is a half. And then similarly with the second part, so minus 3 times minus 5, we've got plus 15, x, and take off 1. At that point it's right, but we can make it look a little bit nicer again. You've got 15 over 2, so leave that as it is. X to the power of a half is the same as the square root of x. And then on this last bit here, 15 is on the top, keep it on the top. X to the power of negative 6, we can make that negative 6 positive by bringing it down to the denominator. And we've done that, and then that looks even nicer, and we're done. On question 1e, I'm writing to differentiate actually, but before we differentiate, you do want to make that look a little bit nicer. And to do that, you want to bring the x up, so you've got x to the power of 1 at the bottom, so when you bring it up you've got x to the power of negative 1 on the numerator. So if we now differentiate that, we've got 12 times negative 1 is negative 12 x, and decrease the power by 1, so we've got negative 2. Again, we can make it look a little bit nicer. You've got negative 12 on the top, keep that on the top, the numbers stay exactly where they are, but the indice there, x to the power of negative 2, we can bring it down and make it positive. So we've got negative 12 over x squared. Lastly, 1f. Again, let's just rearrange it so it's ready to differentiate. We can bring the x to the power of 3 up, make it negative. Now we're going to differentiate it. So here, don't confuse yourself, you've got 2 times 1 is 2. When you reduce that down, you get x to the power of 0, which is 1, so it disappears. Minus 12 times minus 3 is positive 36, and then we're going to reduce the indice by 1, and then just make it look a little bit nicer. Leave your numbers on the top, and bring the negative indice down, so we can write x to the power 4.